What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Ticker Fee video and welcome to the Ticker Fee family. So the symbol we're going to be talking about today is STPK or STEM, and how they successfully transitioned 345 megawatt energy storage to the Athens software, as well as how they registered and updated their Form S4 and Form 425. So we're going to talk about that, how that affects the charts, and then we'll finish the video off with a price prediction. Now, for those that have been supporting me every step of the way, thank you so much. And if you're new to this channel, welcome as always. Let's go ahead and get started. While we get started, what I want to check out is what's going on with the Dow. So it was up 0.90%. The S&P 500 was up 1.11%, and the NASDAQ was up 1.31% closing today. Now, with that being said, looking at the chart, the first thing I always notice is going to be the trend line. So as you can see, we had a $51.49 high, and that was roughly around February the 17th. Now, with that being said, expanding it, as you can see, we've had some dips since then with some red closed body with some long low wicks. But with that being said, as you can see, with the volume that we've had here recently with about 4 million trades, buys and sells, overall the trend line and the support are pretty equal, especially during March. So I think we did a good job getting through that. I feel like nobody enjoyed that correction. So I'm extremely happy to be in April, and we're already halfway through. So it's pretty crazy. So with that being said, though, like I said, the trend line and the support line are pretty equal. And so let's just check out some of this analysis and see what's making it go up and down. Okay, so if you actually check out my channel, again, there are many stocks that I talk about on the regular basis, but what I wanted to point out, if you go about 2 weeks ago on my page, you'll see that I actually talked about STEM. So if you don't know who they are, they're an energy and software type company. That's the best way to explain it. So they have an AI powered platform that enables customers and partners to optimize energy with different ways, right? So that's going to be through battery power, on-site generation, they've got grid power, and so on and so forth. So they're all about sustainability, resilience, and whatnot. So if you don't know what they are, you can check out this channel, but that's a good little summary of what they do. Okay, so if you've been following me for a little while, you'll see that on most of my videos, I like to break it down. And so what I'll do is I'll actually highlight certain information that I feel like is very pertinent for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So STEM Inc. successfully transitions 345 megawatts or Southern California energy storage portfolio to the Athens software. Now, with that being said, with the portfolio, first things first, they had a successful operation with the storage portfolio owned by Electrodes Holdings, which last year transferred portfolio control to the STEM's Athena Smart Energy software. Now, customers in 86 site portfolio are now realizing more than 30% greater monthly energy savings on average compared to the previous software provider. So let's hold on for a second. So 86 portfolio, 30% greater monthly. That by itself will bring the catalyst up, which I think is great. And as well, more customers are going to want to buy into this. So we're already starting off really well. Now, within the 2 months of being awarded the exclusive contract by Electrodes, STEM seamlessly onboarded to Athena management this portfolio that serves 25 large commercial and municipal customers in the Los Angeles area. Now, with that being said, the customers at these sites ranging from office buildings, water treatment plants, university campuses, local government buildings, and so on. So as you can see, it's not just homes, it's at multiple different places, colleges, government buildings, office buildings, whatever the case is. So I think that's, first of all, I think that's great. Now, with that being said, they seamlessly, with this portfolio transition, is further proof of STEM's energy storage leadership and the effectiveness of their best-in-class Athena technology in delivering superior results for the customers, according to the CEO. Now, I can't deny that. I think that's great, and it's, again, proof of concept, which is always going to be good, which is going to help us, and it's a great foundation that I wanted to point out. Now, with that being said, let's scroll down a little bit more. So, with STEM and StarPeak Energy Transition Corp business combination update. And these are the few things that I wanted to highlight specifically and break down. So StarPeak's registration statement on Form S4, which we're going to figure out what that means, is relating to the previously announced merger of the StarPeak and STEM, which was declared effective by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on March 29, 2021, which was just here recently, right? So about 2 weeks ago. Now, the special meeting to approve the pending business combination is scheduled for Tuesday, April 27, 2021. Now, keep that in mind because according to the chart, that's going to change a lot of things. Just as you can see, if you actually look at other companies, which I'm going to point out, you'll see that there will be a big hype and it'll grow. And then right before or the next day, it'll drop. So keep that in mind for the future, especially when we get closer towards the end of April. Okay, so the example that I want to use is going to be ChargePoint. So ChargePoint was with a SPAC company, and when they merged, it was on March the 1st. So if you actually look at the chart and you actually look at March 1st, look at the red. So as you can see, when you're looking at the red body, again, which means that it closed lower than what it opened up at, there's a lot of wick right before and right after, and there was a huge dip. Now, we did recover, and then we eventually actually dipped almost to $20, and so it's been pretty insane ride. Now, with that being said, we're slowly maybe starting to level out, but again, it's still a roller coaster ride. But specifically what I want to point out here as an example is that ChargePoint did drop, and that was right after, as you can see, the following day, March the 2nd, it was in the red. So again, just don't get discouraged towards the end of April. Just keep that in mind, especially if you're trying to hold it for long term. Now, what is the SEC Form S4? So it is filed by the publicly traded company with the Securities Exchange Commission, right? Which is the SEC. So what does that mean? It's any material related to the merger or acquisition. So always keep that in mind. So when you see S4, these are the key takeaways. So it's filed by a publicly traded company. For takeovers, investors assume that the stock price will trade at a premium, and companies seeking a takeover of another company must file for an S4 in the interest of a public disclosure, as well as the SEC requires that the Form S4 contains information regarding the terms of the transaction, risk factors, ratios, pro forma financial information, and material contracts with the company being acquired. So keep that in mind, especially when you see the S4. So when it comes to the SEC filings, you might have heard the annual reports of the 10K or the 8K or the Form 425, which is known as the Rule of 14A12. So if you've heard about that, don't worry, it's not a big deal. So all the SEC Form 425 is the disclosing information about business combinations such as the merger or acquisition. So all that is that. Not a big deal. It's the most common type of business combinations that require a conglomerate merger, market extension mergers, product extension mergers, and so on. So you've even got vertical mergers. So with that being said, it's not a big deal. All it is just talking about them two coming together. Okay, so I know on April 27, 2021, there's a scheduled special meeting to approve the business combination on this merger. So I understand that. Now, I feel like we are definitely going to do that. I have a strong positive feeling that that's going to happen. But what I want you to focus on is maybe 2 weeks later or sometime in May, the actual merger is going to be happening. And so with that being said, keep that in mind what I talked about with ChargePoint, because a lot of these SPAC companies, they get hyped up towards the end and then they drop. Then they'll settle off and then they'll kind of phase, and then there'll be a good support line. But that initial day or right after, it kind of drops for a little bit. So just keep that in mind and just don't get discouraged. It's a really good company with great foundation and good fundamentals. And so I just want to point that out. Now, with that being said, there is a high of $51.49, which is really good. But what I'm thinking is that it might go a little bit higher when we get closer to that merger. And so if you're keeping that in mind, I would say we're still going to be between maybe $35, $36, which is still really good, but it's all going to be dependent on the support and if they don't push the merger date. So as long as they don't push that merger date, I think we're going to have a good third quarter. And so keep that in mind, guys. Now, I hope this was great added value. I hope this will be able to help you out on making your decisions. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I really do appreciate you listening in. And for those that are here for the first time, welcome. And with that being said, guys, as always, welcome to the Ticker Feed family.